Welcome back to the Top 6 show. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Turn the bell notifications on, but you've got to press all notifications because YouTube has stopped sending them. YouTube is not sending out normal notifications anymore. So you've got to change that setting over now. Sorry, we're a little bit late going live. We're still waiting on Giuseppe to join us. He'll be here momentarily. We've got Kunle on the show. Henry's with us. But there has been some big bombs in the last half an hour or so. Gibbs-White to Tottenham. We're talking about it. 60 million buyout clause reportedly being activated. It could be Baleba next for Tottenham. Baleba could be next. What a signing that could be. Of course, they've already gone and signed the brilliant Mohamed Kudus as well. We're looking at Man United and Mbeumo. A massive update from Ben Jacobs. He is live on the Football Terrace tomorrow, actually, so we'll be going through more of that with him. But a big update in relation to why that deal was taken so long. United fans will hate it. Well, most United fans. I personally love it. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more detail. Plus, Arsenal, Gyokeres, reports from Portugal, it's been stalled and it could be over. But ESPN in the last hour have said it's very close indeed. And essentially, Arsenal fans should stay relaxed. But before we delve into these stories, how are you all doing, guys? You all right?
I'm fantastic. Absolutely
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Had a good birthday on Monday, but other than that...
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Bon anniversaire, as the French say.
The transfer news hasn't been like as enjoyable as my birthday celebrations were so far. So,
yeah, and we're gonna get into Arsenal. We're gonna get into Arsenal.
We will.
But yeah, I think some people might literally be getting into Arsenal. Tottenham, Kudus confirmed a day or so ago, and I don't know if did you boys see how it happened on our show? Did you guys see it yesterday?
No. What did Ben Jacobs break it?
No, it wasn't like that. It was better than having Ornstein on here birthing it, right? One of our long-standing Tottenham viewers put in a super chat because we were talking about the Madueke deal, and he put in a super chat, and I read it almost instantly because we were in the super chats, and it said, "Baldy, as in Daniel Levy, better hurry up with the Mohamed Kudus deal." The second I finished saying the word Kudus, Ornstein tweeted the deal was done. It was freaky but amazing. It literally happened and I was, you sit there sometimes in life. It was just a fluke, an absolute fluke, but it was lovely to see. But look, that deal was done. It is now reported 60 million activation is going to happen of the release clause of Morgan Gibbs-White into Tottenham Hotspur. What are you saying, Henry?
Yeah, I am very, very happy. I've not felt this positive about Tottenham since the Poch days. To start off with, Kudus is a really, really top signing for us. I think he can be, a long-term winger at this club. He's only 24. Obviously, he's fantastic at beating his man, and he's going to fit the system like a glove. And then if you add in Morgan Gibbs-White, you're talking about one of the better attacking midfielders in the Premier League. Man City were after him at the beginning of the window, early June, and now you're looking at us, according to the Telegraph, that we are prepared to trigger his £60 million release clause, and he is open to the move, and they don't think personal terms will be a problem. So if you're looking at it from a creative perspective, Maddison, Kulusevski, Gibbs-White, Kudus, Son, there is a lot of creativity there. And we're also looking at, there's a few links out there to Baleba. That's the one we need. We desperately are crying out for a 6. If we bring him in as well, I know Daniel Levy said a couple of weeks ago that, we want to win the Premier League and we want to win the Champions League, and everyone was sitting there laughing. These are the sort of signings that fans gives us. I'm not saying we're going to
everyone, including you, Henry.
Yeah, but these are the sort of signings that give us real hope. And I'll be honest, if we bring in a good 6, as well as Kudus and Gibbs-White, top 4 should be comfortable.
Hey, Henry, why do we always get excited?
Let's be honest with it. Kudus, Maddison,
this is the problem.
All in the same team.
You said, comfortable top 4. I'm saying, you lot should be able to get top 6, but comfortable top 4 is crazy.
I think with those signings, we're better than
Are you forgetting that this is the same squad? I know you're adding some people in there. The same squad that lost 21 games last season.
Yeah, granted, we did lose a lot of games.
I can't see you doing enough to go from 17th to 4th.
I think people are sleeping on how much better Thomas Frank is as a tactician to Ange. I think you're not going to see a high line where we're doing 50, 60-yard sprints a game and Van der Ven's hamstrings popping like some submachine gun. I think with those signings, we're better than Villa. I think with those signings, we're on par with Newcastle. You could say right now that the top 4 are better than us, but the big thing for me is that number 6. That's the most important. That's like your striker. You're crying out for a striker. Everyone knows that. Everyone's known that for 3 years. Mm-hmm. We are crying out for a number 6 because we don't have anyone who can break play up. We don't have a Thomas Pye or a Zubimendi or anyone like that.
You jump 13 places.
Yeah, 100% it will. People are saying that's a really poor take. How is it? You bring it in.
It's a wild take. Like, look, I'm not saying nothing's impossible in this game of football. Like, I understand, but jumping from 17th or 18th, 17th, sorry, to 4th, comfortable. I can't see it, bro. I can't see it.
Yeah, but I'll be honest,
because at the end of the day, Thomas Frank might be able to change the style of play, the tactics, but he's not going to be able to change the whole mentality of the club in the space of 1 year, bro. And I
don't think he'll change the mentality.
On top of that, he's got to play his best team 3 games a week. He's never done that. So if you're expecting him to just go from 17th to 4th just because of some signings, Henry, you're deluded. I can't lie to you, man. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. And I'll put my hands up. I've been wrong in the past, but this time, this is a lot, man. I know you're excited. You got a few signings, Spurs in the headlines and stuff. Things are shining. Things are exciting.
Breaking news from Mike McGrath. Morgan Gibbs-White will have his Tottenham medical tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes! Come on, mate. We are absolutely cooking, mate. Kudus and Gibbs-White in the space of 2 days. Do you know what? I will say one thing. No one can get on Levy's back now, right? We've started off the window of 100 million dropped on 2 of the better attacking players in the Premier League outside the top 6.
Henry, you just need to say we don't need to get onto Levy now. Why do you keep saying no one? Like you weren't part of the ringleaders of people getting onto
I'm taking myself out of this situation.
I've seen you try to do that a couple of times already on the show, mate. You're involved. You are a complainer too.
One saying that
Levy said that he's like, you guys are going to try and win the league. Look, I don't see you guys challenging in the next 2 years, but if you're making signings like this, is definitely heading in the right direction.
Someone said, "I'm sorry, that's a reaction for Morgan Gibbs-White." Mate, we've been starving for signings like this. Like, when's the last time you see Tottenham go out there at the start of a transfer window and drop 100 million on two players? Tottenham don't act like this ever. We don't act like this.
Can we not overhype Gibbs-White as well? Baller though, good baller. Good baller.
I think he's a good player. If Eze wasn't available, would you take Gibbs-White?
No.
I think
no, he's not my cup of tea personally, but he's a good player. Definitely a good player.
Disrespectful there, to be honest.
He's a Tottenham type of player, man. Not an Arsenal player, bro.
Is he not like? Do you not think if City are after him, what does that? Clearly, there's a player there.
City sign him?
I think City would. I think if the
it's City signing him is like a yes or no question, bro. We don't need to like dwell on it.
No. Look, I think Morgan Gibbs-White in a Tottenham shirt.
They chose against him.
Do you know what I will say though is where does this leave James Maddison?
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, I'd say with this.
Do you care?
Yeah, well, yeah. Gibbs-White better than Maddison?
But listen. I think what you've got to look at is how you're going to play. And I think looking at Kudus and looking at Gibbs-White, you are going to be. I think your manager is setting you up to be a very good transitional team. They are transitional, but he wants Wiisa. He wants Wiisa as well, who's done it. I think you're going to be Brentford, but with better players. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if you actually go and look at a lot of Brentford's games, and by the way, you'll have possession in some matches because Brentford have possession in some matches. And I think that's the beauty of Thomas Frank's football, is that when he's got the better players, he'll dominate the ball. He'll be aggressive. And look, Gibbs-White, Kudus, they're technically proficient. But there are going to be many games. And this is where this is why Ange lost so many football matches. Because he'd go up against the big boys And ironically, your best result last year outside the final, of course, because you won a trophy, was the 4-0 drumming or 4-1 drumming of City. But it was one of the only Premier League games where you actually sat back and absorbed and countered. And this is what Thomas Frank will do brilliantly with your club. There'll be weeks where you're playing, I don't know, West Ham, and then you're playing Burnley, and you'll dominate the ball. You'll be the aggressors. But when you're playing the Arsenals and the Liverpools, the Cities, the Chelseas, the teams that are probably better than you on the ball, in a lot of those games, you'll play transitional football. And I don't know if there's a better manager over the last 4 or 5 years in the Prem at being very hard to beat and brilliant in that transition, or in my generation, that counter attack. I think it's more about how you're going to play football above and beyond anything else. By the way, another update just on this as well, just because in case people don't like Mike McGrath, David Ornstein has just said that just now Morgan Gibbs-White's contract is believed to include his contract is believed to include a 60 million release clause. Tottenham are working to sign the midfielder. He's just updated again, so it's another update here. I thought they were installing a 60 million release clause. No, but that's just, I think he's treading on water here. But yeah, that's going to happen. That deal is done. And where did you hear about Baleba? Did you say that Baleba's?
Yeah,
well?
I see one of the. I think it might have been Spurs Connect. Definitely saw one of the Twitter accounts talking about it.
But Terry, what's the highest league position Brentford have finished?
Eighth or seventh?
I'm going to say 8th. I'll just have to guess. I'm going to say 8th. Yeah.
What you were saying just then about transitional, all of Tottenham's best performances, not just City, were all like that. And I know you only mentioned the City one, but you think of the cup final against Man United, we just sat back and absorbed the pressure. Brentford away was the same. Villa at home was the same. The Wiisa, whatever his name is, Wiisa from Brentford one's a bit. I don't think we'll get that done personally. I'd take 100% take him. 19 Premier League goals last season, but we've already got Richarlison as a backup. We've already got Solanke there. I don't think that will happen. But without a doubt, a number 6. If we bring in, I don't think Baleba will happen because they want £75 million apparently. If we pay that, then we really are serious. I think we'll go out and get maybe a Douglas Luiz from Juventus for 30 mil. But I've not seen Tottenham act like this in a long time.
Hey, is it your head? Henry's got a bit of swagger today.
Listen, I've got flipping chest out, shoulders out. I'm very, 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 very optimistic about next season.
Look, Henry, to be fair, like if you're saying that Spurs could be what Forest were last season, like go from the bottom half of the league to the top half of the league, I'm not saying that's impossible, but to get into the top 4 with how everyone's strengthened, I don't think it's going to be that
top 5. If the coefficient points mean 5th get Champions League again in England.
I'm just saying. I'm going to go back to what you're saying because you said top 4. You said you're going to be better than Arsenal, Man City,
no, not better than Arsenal.
Liverpool, and
Arsenal, City, and Liverpool are clear. Let's just be honest; they are clear. The current 4th best team in the country for me is Chelsea, right? But I don't think.
And you think all these changes you're making can make you better than Chelsea? That's what I was going
to get to that. I don't think at this time Aston Villa, with the signings they've made, are going to be stronger than us. Newcastle with Elanga, they're probably going to be one of the best counter-attacking sides in the league with him, Gordon, and Isak. But is there a huge amount of difference between Newcastle and us? If we get a 6, no, I don't think there is. I don't think their back 4's better than ours. Their midfield is by far. Right? But you look at their options on the bench. If they get an injury to Alexander Isak, who's coming in?
Yeah, I can hear this version of what you're saying better because that sounds like
okay. So when you break that down,
top 6, like I predicted, top 6. Yeah, you can do
top
that.
4 may be a stretch, but we definitely get top 5 if the Champions League. If Champions League, the coefficient points means 5th gets Champions League. I believe with a strong signing of the number 6, we will be 5th. And I'm happy to be clipped up. I don't care what anyone. I'm happy for KJ to clip this up.
I'm saying this. This is the same team. Like just put this in perspective. The same team that the second half of the season, Ange basically said, "Look, our squad isn't strong enough to be rotating in one competition and being competitive in the Premier League. We need to go all in the Europa League, which is like what 8 games or something like that."
Yeah, but then we lost to like.
Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Gibbs-White to Tottenham Hotspur. This is further confirmation for you. There's the here we go from Fabrizio.
My days. Mate, be honest,
Fair enough,
have
man.
you ever seen Tottenham act like this?
Not at all, man. Not at all. Like you have a reason to be excited, but top four is a bit too much excitement.
I don't know if it's fair to say that you've never acted like this. I mean, you've signed very good players before where your clubs, where your fans have gone crazy. It's more. I'm actually more watching the
back Terry. The back to back 2 days, 2 lose, and
I get that, but do you know what I love, right? And I mean this in the most positive way possible. What I find so funny is this is why I don't show my bum early in a transfer window. And as much as some people will be angry at the start, and then by the end of the window, they would say, see, I was right to be angry because it was crap. And that is fair. Spurs fans just this time yesterday, before the Kudus news came out, were fuming. We've been rejected by Eze, rejected. Semenyo stayed, rejected by Mbeumo. What are we doing? Levy, what you doing, you bald fraud? 24 hours later, Henry's here getting out his wank sock from under his bed, cracking it open and going, my God, look at my team. The maddest bit is for me, and it's just my personal preference. I don't want tweets out there and I don't want videos out there of me losing my mind before the fact. To your point, Henry, about where you're going to finish, where I would challenge you is you've got to wait for other people's windows to finish too. Because when you say top four, definitely. What if Chelsea go with the money they're making from it? What if Chelsea go out and buy a world-class goalkeeper and buy Rodrygo? What if, for instance, Newcastle go and get themselves Ekitike and go and get themselves Fana and keep all their other players? What if Aston Villa actually do end up raising some money and go and buy 2 or 3 really good players themselves? The only thing about your claim I'm pushing back on isn't that you're not capable of doing it with these signings and more to follow. It's you've got to wait and see what everybody else does, I personally think, before you're able to make that claim, if that makes sense. Because, you know, Arsenal fans have gone through that in the last 4 days. It's like, Gyokeres is in, we could win the league. You're signing Noni Madueke, burn the club down. It's the contrast has been crazy. So I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying it can't happen. But from my point of view and perspective, I just think that you've got to wait and see what other teams are going to do first before you can say guarantee of top 4. I think you should be, again, I think your team underachieved in the league last season by such a colossal way. If you weren't on a good Europa League run, your manager would have been sacked in January. If you'd have gone out in the group stages or the league phase of the Europa League, he'd have been sacked in January. That's how bad he was in the league. I don't think your squad was 17th in the league. Don't believe it for a second. I think minimum you're a top 8 squad, top 7 squad, and you're now adding brilliant players to it. I just don't want to sit here and go guarantee of top 4, because as it stands, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool and City are all better than you, and they're all going to improve and have done themselves. So I don't know if that's a guarantee yet.
Yeah, maybe
had a few Prosecco's before the stream. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
So,
don't back down. No, don't back down. Come on.
We're just giving our opinion, Henry, man. If you believe it, believe it.
I do think I'm going to stand by what I'm saying. Maybe he's jumping the gun, looking at the fact that other teams haven't made transfers. But I just think Thomas Fraggett is going to improve us. Just 17 places is a bit of a 14 places, whatever the difference is going to be tough. But he's such a better manager. And now I've just read
21 losses, though. 21 losses.
Yeah, we won't have 21 losses next season. No way.
I'm sure you won't, but as in how?
George Bannister, who's a really good Tottenham ITK, said that ENIC agreed last week to add additional funds to the transfer budget. So we're not stopping here. There's a lot more news to come, he's saying. So, yeah, mate. Champions League next season down at the lane at the Spurnabow. Morgan Gibbs-White. Kudus, Madison. Terry, were you going to speak about the Romero news regarding his rejecting the contract?
You bring it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, Christian Romero, obviously everyone knows his situation. He's been wanting to join Atletico and partner up with Simeone. Apparently, we offered him a contract extension, which was rejected. So, Yeah, I mean, Romano spoke about it twice yesterday, saying that there's no news. I think there's more to the story. I think he's just trying to gather traction on it. I do think he will be an Atletico Madrid player. And if Liverpool haven't pulled the trigger yet for Gahey, why can't we sign him?
Yeah, look, I think Romero. I think Romero should stay at your club. I think Romero would be stupid to go. I think he should give Thomas Frank and these players you're buying a year. I do love this. Like, people are DMing me going, bro, Spurs have signed 2 players in 2 days. You spent 30 days working on Mbeumo. But you know, in them 30 days, Spurs got rejected by 3 or 4. This is the problem with football fans. I'm not pressed by it. And equally, you're a Man United fan attacking your own football club. The reason why Spurs have yes, they've got 2 in 2 days. They haven't actually got them over the line yet. They're not officially. This is the irony. They're not officially signed, are they? Right? Neither have actually signed yet. You've got the here we go. But that's because they were being rejected for other players and have triggered a buyout clause. And you guys said that Kunle don't count because it was a buyout clause. Now a buyout clause counts for Tottenham. Some of you Man United fans love like getting shafted up your own pipe for your own club. It's so strange, man. So strange. But yeah, if you wanted Gibbs-White over Mbeumo, then say so. If you wanted Gibbs-White over Mbeumo, say so. Like, we could have just bid that. But I guarantee if we went and got Gibbs-White today and bought his buyout clause and walked away from Mbeumo, the same Man United fans would kick off about it. So it's not a flex for me. Good signing for Tottenham, and I like Gibbs-White. But we've gone and got Kunle already, and Kunle for me is better than him. So I'm not massively better, but I would still say better. So yeah, I'm not pressed by it. Well done. The same as Kudus. We could have gone and got Kudus, but we've gone for Mbeumo. And Spurs, yes, they got it done pretty quickly, but that's because they went and paid what West Ham asked them to. And in fact, they paid more than what other clubs would have to have done. Now, again, Man United paid exactly what Brentford wanted and dropped 70 million. You'd all be moaning that we overpaid. So again, it's a weird flex. But if you guys want to flex it and attack your own club for doing the right thing, so that's on you.
We've spent 140 million pounds, 145 million pounds this transfer window so far on Tell, Gibbs-White, and Kudus.
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing. Tell,
we shouldn't have signed him, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, Man United fans don't want to count the young lad Leon that we've bought because it was done last season, but they'll let you count 3 for Tell. This is what I mean by shitting on your own club. People will move the goalposts to shit on it, and it's good work by Tottenham, but it's not a reflection about Man United. It's, like I say, it's about getting the deal done the right way. Let's go to some of these super chats here. This says no one is taking Gibbs-White over Mbeumo. Ha ha ha. Yeah, some Man United fans seemingly are. This here says, I interrogated over 1,000 people, because Ronan used to be a police officer, but would step aside and let Kunle do the questioning. Man is a monster. This here says, Glock to Arsenal is very close to failing. Well, not according to ESPN, and we're going to talk about that. I don't think it is close to failing. I said that this morning. If United get Watkins, Mbeumo, and Kunle, we will finish higher than Spurs. People are sleeping on United with Bruno and Ahmad, etc. But I'd put a little bet on that as well. I mean, this is why, again, I'm not attacking Tottenham in any way. I'm praising their business. But if Man United, there's a lot of United fans sticking their nose up at Ollie Watkins. But I like the
wager on it, which is crazy for the position you're in right now.
I can't have a wager on it until we've done the business because it becomes convoluted. But if Man United get Ollie Watkins, I still need to see the rest of the business. Like I've said, I'm not going to yield on that. But by the end of the window, I don't mind having a wager that will finish ahead of you. But I've got a feeling we could. I mean, if we have 3 of last season's top 8 goal scorers in the Premier League now suddenly in our front 3. And I think they're really they're the only attainable front 3 out of that as well. The rest of them, we're not getting Liverpool players. We haven't got the money for Isak. We haven't got the money for the Arsenal players that were in it. We can't get the City players. We can't get the City, Arsenal, or Liverpool players anyway. Having 3 of last season's top 8 goal scorers is suddenly not a bad front 3. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's funny how Spurs and Man United are also doing very similar. Really going after like the best of the rest Premier League players, if that makes sense. The best of the attainable Premier League players. And the great news, I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, a lot of these, that's why, a lot of these mid group of clubs, they're being pillaged. They're all being, I mean, that's why Semenyo staying at Bournemouth is so important for them. So important because what have Forest lost now? They've lost Alanga and Gibbs-White in the space of 2 or 3 days. And I know they're going to buy others, but let's see what happens.
That's it either, bro.
Brentford have lost Norgard. They're going to lose Mbeumo. They've lost their manager. I still think
Bournemouth have lost. Dean Huijsen, Gyokeres.
Yeah, they've lost
Unless they're
Turkey.
about to lose Gehi, Eze, and a couple of others maybe.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of those teams. A lot of those teams are going to be ripped apart next season. But yeah, I'll be confident with that Man United front three. Spurs signing 2 in 2 days, whilst United 37 days in. Oh, I thought you would be better than that shitty banter, Kate. Come on now. Come on. So you've got one more new signing than us. Cool. All right. But again, we could have gone and got Gibbs-White. Do you want to know what I know for a fact? Both your signings you would have preferred in Mbeumo. Do you know why? Because you bid for him first. So, like, that's the only reason why I'm not pressed by it. It's good signings, but come on now. But a good bit.
Didn't we bid? I know Man United have obviously been quoted 60 mil. Didn't we go higher as well?
Well, this is what happened with that is exactly what I predicted it was live with you guys on the top six. You bid it. As soon as the player came out and rejected it, I knew Spurs would brief the press and say, no, we didn't actually bid. You know, that's what I said at the time. Again, was called salty. I've not had my certificate for that one of being right. Why don't I ever get this? You know what I mean? I get pressed in the group chats for it, but there we go. There we go.
Kudos to Spurs stinks, man. I can't lie. I hate it. I hate it.
Have you seen the reaction from West Ham fans?
Apparently
they had to raise £40 million because of a loan they've got to pay off.
Oh, really?
Obviously, West Ham obviously had a release clause on him, which was only valid for like 8 days in July. So as soon as the release clause was not valid, obviously we paid 55 million, and then he forced the move. But the reaction is like, look, we're their arch rivals, and they say we're not their rivals. But then as soon as a player leaves, it's like, oh, why is he going to that lot? I just can't wait for it. I hope in the announcement when they do it, he comes out, sits on his little chair, and then just holds his shirt up. And then when we go back to London Stadium next season, runs over. And
I don't know why we've not gone in for Kudus. I don't understand.
Would you have taken? I was going to say, would you have taken
Kudus over Madueke any day of the week, bro?
Do you think?
It's the guy can do more. He can play in more positions, and he's a better player. So I don't get why for 5 more million we've allowed him to go to Spurs.
Trossard or Martinelli?
He's better than both of them, so why not? And he can fill in as the left 8. So it's crazy. Crazy. I still don't think I'm still hoping that my club are not gonna sign Madueke. I'm hoping that the fee that Chelsea are asking for is too high for them. Because it's crazy that they've let Kudus go to Spurs, man. Crazy.
The thing I was going to say about Madueke, the fee obviously is high, isn't it? Right, but a lot of Arsenal fans last season, I don't know what your thoughts were, but a lot of Arsenal fans were saying that they need a backup for Bukayo Saka. Then you go and get a backup, and it's like,
this is the thing, Henry. This is the thing. Like, I thought he's too arrogant of a player to come in as a backup for Bukayo Saka. You see how he goes around on social media. He's on the pitch after he's had a good game. He gives it a little bit too much. But the reason why I'm starting to get scared about this Madueke thing is because I saw a stat that he's played 7 games last season on the left, and 5 of those games were in the last 6 games of the season for Chelsea. And whenever he's come on in the Club World Cup, what position does he come on? Left wing as well. So I'm scared that this might be the alternative to Rodrygo rather than an addition. If he's an addition to like a Rodrygo, I don't mind it because our main players are going to be Rodrygo, Gyokeres, and Saka. That's a bad boy from
Eze.
But I'd like Eze, but I need Rodrygo first. I need my specialist left winger before we do anything else. That's what
that Rodrygo's like when
it's crucial to our whole summer. If we get him, every other signing looks great.
Well, Terry said it the other night on one of his videos that signing is like the meter goes like that towards Arsenal or like that to Liverpool. Because if the media come out tomorrow and say that he's absolutely 100% leaving, Bayern Munich obviously need a left winger. They're after Diaz. They were after Williams.
Martinelli.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I personally think if you're going to sign hypothetically Eze, Madueke, Gyokeres, and Rodrygo, one of that front line's going, and the most valuable asset to go, who's not really necessarily needed, is Martinelli. You could probably in this market get 60, 70 mil.
I would love it. Man. Please,
it's
any of them. Tweedledee and Tweedledum can go, please.
What about isn't Trossard like linked with
Fenerbahce, but that's only
Or
15
Fenerbahce,
million
sorry.
or something. Is it Galatasaray or Fenerbahce? One of the Turkish
One of the
teams like
Turkish.
that,
A lot of the Turkish teams have got massive investment. Like that league's one to. That's like Saudi, but just bubbling away. Like there's no financial. The regulation over there isn't like it is over here. Like that's why you're seeing like John Duran, Leroy Sane. They've put Sane on something like 300k a week.
I don't know what's going on in Turkey, but they're looking for Osimhen as well. Like they're doing crazy stuff over there.
They're able to do big things. They're able to do big things there. Sorry, just got to get the show. I was just having a war of words with Staffy, because Staffy does the typical thing.
I've seen him in the chat.
Yeah, but Staffy in the private chat, he's like, so Spurs. My question back to him was, why have Spurs got 2 deals done in 2 days and we can't? It's okay. Well, would you prefer Gibbs-White over Mbeumo? And he said that's an irrelevant question. And I don't think it is, because if we went and bid the 60 million release clause of Gibbs-White, we could have got him. We didn't have to negotiate. So it's up to you guys. Again, if it's fine, Staffy. If you think it's an irrelevant question, that's on you, bruv. No, listen, you can definitely tune in tomorrow, Staffy, because I've got, what the hell is this on my God, sorry. So I had Telegram open. Someone called me on it. I've got something very special planned for Staffy tomorrow. We've got it's something that's never been done on the Football Terrace before. It's happening tomorrow at around 3:30 p.m. UK time on Straight Facts. Please make sure you are tuning in. It's going to be huge. Terry hates Spurs so much. I've praised you. I think it's an excellent signing. But again, I would rather wait for Mbeumo than sign Gibbs-White. I don't, the same as I would have rather have wait for Gibbs-White than I've got Kudus, even though I really rate Kudus. Spurs agree with me. They tried to sign Mbeumo. I don't really get the flex. Hang on, why is this? Oh, hang on a minute. I don't know how to stop that now. Hang on a minute, because I've only just put it onto this different device, and I don't know how people are able to do that. I have to go to my settings. 1 second, people. Notifications and sounds. Turn that all off. Jesus Christ. Do
you actually just keep conversation flying?
Do
you actually think there's a chance that this Mbeumo deal just doesn't happen?
Maybe if Wiisa goes, maybe that's the reality. They're not looking to get rid of both of them. That's what they're saying.
The meltdown
if Wiisa goes first, then maybe not.
Line will be
that's crazy.
the meltdown if who? Sorry,
I'm saying. Do you think there's like Kunle just said, if we get Wiisa out before you sign Brian and Mbeumo, Brentford ain't going to want to sell both of them. Do you think there's a chance that you don't sign him?
No, I don't. I on the Wiisa situation, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. It's the way people want to interpret, I suppose. And I get that Man United fans are fuming and angry, and they want that they want to be very vocal about it, and I get it. It's just not the way I'm choosing to behave, and that's fair. But when they say they don't want to sell both, I get it. I didn't want to go bald. I did. They will loot at the right price. Everyone's for sale, and what that really means is you guys are going to have to pay us a good price. And United, I don't think will allow that to happen. I personally don't think if they were told today by Brentford, look, if Spurs get the agreement in for Wiisa before you guys do, we're not selling both. I don't think Man United will allow that to happen. And when you listen to what Ben Jacobs says as well about the Mbeumo situation, this is why I'm not overly panicking. It's more about the structure and how they're going to get the add-ons. The fee that we bid, the totality of the fee in the second bid is pretty much what's going to be the third bid, but it's about the structure and the breakdown. So I'm not personally too concerned or worried about it at all. It's not something I'm personally panicking about. What I'm more panicking about is selling players at a loss, so just to get rid of them early, or being a pushover in the negotiations, because I think in the medium to long term, that will hurt us off the pitch and on the pitch a hell of a lot more. It's very hard to sell to your players that you're going in a new direction if you're always rolling over and having your belly tickle, if you're seen as a laughing stock, if you're bored or laughed at and not respected. If they're not respected outside the club, why are they going to be respected inside of it? It's like getting told off by your boss in front of your kids. Your kids are suddenly going to make you make the cups of tea. Do you know what I mean? So, and I've been talking about this stuff for years, and it's imperative. And why is it imperative? It's what all the successful clubs do. So I want these things done, really. So yeah, I want the players on time, and I spoke yesterday on the United stand in front of the biggest audience in biggest Man United audience in the world. Said it on my own channel last night. I'm disappointed that we haven't got deals done quicker. At the same time, I'd rather them done right than faster for the wrong price or sold too soon. So, but I'm not worried about missing out on Mbeumo. It's just something I'd like the deal done. I'd like him in through the door right now. 110%. Of course, I'd like him in. But I think part of the reason I'd like him in now is, one, it'd be nice to see. You get a bit of a dopamine release. But I actually would just like fans to drop it. It would be nice to go onto the TL and just see it done. And I'd like it for the fans that are upset, the fans that are angry, the fans who are really, because there's a lot of Man United fans, and fair play to them, they're struggling this summer. They're really, really struggling with the season that we had, the way we lost that final. And it hurt. And I felt the pain as well. Maybe it's because I talk about it so regularly. It's quite a cathartic process to go through this. But there's a lot of Man United fans that are absolutely in bits. So I really do want it to go quickly through for them. Blue Buzz here says, Terry, you were wrong about Højlund. Yeah, I was. I know. Unless you've not watched for about 18 months, I told you, I've already admitted I was wrong about that. What do you want me to do? Shut my channel down? I don't. You keep saying what you want, but where's my certificate for being right about Haaland? Where's that?
Well, I love the fact that when you get something wrong, or any of us get something wrong, everyone's so quick to remind you. But when you actually get something right, it's brushed under the carpet, isn't it?
Yeah.
The game,
Brentford have a clear price on Mbeumo. Why are United behaving like this? Yeah, they wanted 70 million. United are getting the price down. They wanted the payment terms in their favor. United are getting them to be more neutral. It's the right thing to do. I've got no. Again, my question is: should we just roll over and have our bellies tickled? When you say why are we doing this, I don't know about you personally, Prince. Fresh Prince. I think it's meant to say Prince. We've been laughed at for rolling over and just doing what clubs tell us for years. We start pushing back against that, and we're now ridiculed for it. I'm going to go the latter myself. Even a stop clock is right twice a day. Yeah, I'm wrong. I'm so bad at talking football. It's amazing that across all my platforms, I've got nearly 1 million followers for being shit at talking football. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy. There we go. Let's do some more of these super chats here. We'll come back to Arsenal. So I want to get to Arsenal in a minute. I don't want to cross the conversations here. Thank you, Car Crash, for becoming an official member of the Terrace. That means a lot to us. Thank you, my friend. Big up, Terry. I was away. Did you read my super chat? Yes, Nick. We read your super chat a little bit earlier in the show, my friend.
Wait, how much is the reported fee for Gibbs-White?
60 million.
60 million pounds. Yeah. 60 million.
So it's like nearly 115 on both signings.
Arsenal fans said Arsenal didn't want Mbeumo. That's lies. Again, this is what I love about football fans. We're all amazing. We will all, including myself, do this at the right times, is we pick and choose when facts exist. Ornstein's the Don. Ornstein's the man yesterday because he said there was no bid yet for Madueke. But Ornstein also said that Arsenal wanted Mbeumo. So which is it? Spurs and United will replace Villa and Forest in the top 6 and 7. Potentially. Facts. Potentially true. What's it say? Terry, it was a joke. You've used my writing for videos before. I've used your writing for videos before. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Berta is on fraud watch. Look, let's go into Arsenal in a little bit more detail now. What do you think is going to happen with the Gyokeres deal? Because there's been talks today of it stalling and maybe ending. There's been talks today that it's really, really close. What's your gut telling you, Kunle, on this situation, on this deal?
I just think there's a lot of and ahhing when it comes to the way the money is going to be distributed. I think that's the hook, line, and sinker right now. And I don't think it's one of those things that is enough drama for it to not get done, but it's enough drama for it to be headache for the next week or so, or 2 or 3. I think it's one of those ones, but it definitely gets done. And typically, you've seen my club in the past, when it comes to transfers, we love to drag out something that could be done in 24 hours to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I'm calm. As in, I said, I'm still calm until the first game of preseason starts. That's what I've said. I've been consistent and I'm calm. But I think Gyokeres will get done before then. It's the other stuff that I'm getting a little bit worried about.
Don't you think that when you guys fly out for the Asian tour, it's soon, isn't it?
Yeah, soon.
I think it's next week because you play us while you're out there.
Mm.
Do you not think that, like, time's ticking in terms of.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Like,
I think the Rodrygo one's going to be one of those deadline day ones, to be honest, which is going to be quite annoying. But
well, everyone's outside like the whole
yeah,
Mesut Ozil all over again.
yeah, all that nonsense. I think it's going to be one of those. But Gyokeres, I think I can see it getting done quite in the next week or two, man. It's just dragging out. He clearly wants to come to the club. He's willing to sacrifice 2 million of wages or some nonsense, whatever. But I think he's coming, and it's just a matter of time. But I think the tabloids need to post something about Arsenal to get our fans talking. So every day they post something, which is really nothing. So I think that's what's really going on. I could be wrong.
I think you'll get it done in the next week. Like Sporting go back to training, I think this weekend. Like Liverpool have got a game this weekend. That's how fast pre-seasons come around. Like Liverpool play Preston on Sunday. So like, I think your first one's either us or Milan.
Next week.
So yeah, I think you'll get it done this weekend or so, or there'll at least be a here we go in the next week, I'd imagine. Rodrygo though, with regards to it being done on deadline day, I think it will be done before then. I think it will be done.
I hope so, but it just seems like one of those transfers that's just going to drag out, man. I don't know, man. It depends. I guess it depends how many clubs are involved in the deal.
That Madrid Extra Twitter account, who's got like 1.7 million followers, like the Madrid ITK social media account, said that Xabi Alonso is so involved in the transfers and he's chosen his squad. And the fact that Rodrygo's been on the bench the last 5 games clearly indicates that he's going to leave.
Yeah. I hear you on that. Sorry, I got distracted again. We'll come to Rodrygo in a minute. I wanted to go to a few comments here that have come in about Gyokeres. This is Terry. I'm really confused about the Gyokeres deal. Why are the reports so varied? I don't necessarily think they are varied. When you actually read them all and break them down, Arsenal probably did leave Portugal without an agreement. And theoretically, they have stalled if there's a couple of days without a new bid. But that word panics people, doesn't it? It's, when you finish work on Friday and you go home, you've stalled working until Monday. If you want to use that word, right? You've ceased to do something. There are certain words that people like, I think the Portuguese press are using to kind of trigger the media frenzy, if that makes sense. So there hasn't been a major report. Can it fall through? Yes, there is the chance. I wanted to ask you, Kunle, if, for instance, you did walk away from this deal because you didn't want to pay more than £65 million base fee, how disappointed would you be with Bertha and with Arsenal if that was the case?
I'd be livid because it would leave us with options that I have no interest in. Like, for example, the other alternative I had was Osimhen, but he's obviously going to Turkey. It looks like, and I'm not really that keen on Sesko. So we really need to get this done. There's no reason not to get it done, considering how much they've monitored him, how much time they spent on it, how the personal terms are agreed. Like, just figure it out, man. It's not like we haven't got money. Just drop the peas and make him come to the club. At the end of the day, he wants to come to the club. So just do it. Get it done. I don't see any reason why they should mess it up now. Unless they're telling me that Sesko was the one, but it doesn't seem like that. But Terry, if you asked me this 6 weeks ago, everyone was saying Sesko is the guy that we were going to get. Now it seems like it's Gyokeres. So I don't know what's going on at my club. It seems like they're just negotiating with both. The Sesko stuff's kind of died down a bit. But if Gyokeres doesn't get done, he's the person I wanted. Between him and Osimhen, those were the main two I wanted. And if you don't get any of those done, I'll be extremely disappointed. And I don't know what my expectations would be.
Do you question Arteta's recruitment when it comes to forwards?
Yes.
If you think like the best 2 forwards you've had in the last 5 years have been Martinelli and Saka, and he signed neither of those.
Well, the summer where we could have signed Isak, he signed Jesus. He signed Havertz instead of in the summer we could have signed Kudus. So the writing's on the wall for him in terms of attacking options, and he's now interested in Madueke. So Henry, you're asking a question that you know the answer to. That, like, let's be honest, like, this is it's ridiculous.
It would be crazy in my opinion. Like,
it doesn't make any sense.
The Madueke deal, I've spoken about that, at large. I can't. At the prices that are being discussed, it makes no sense to me, if I'm being absolutely honest. And again, it may be a quick bit of business, but this is the thing about getting deals done. You can go out and get 2 or 3 deals done in a week or two, but do I want those players at my club? And we're not in your position. You guys have really got to be aiming for the best, and you're just not in this scenario. If these, I don't believe they are true, but if you walk away from Gyokeres, what's the alternative? This is why it don't make sense to me, right? It's got not fake news, but this is why I think it's a little bit. It's slightly over scrupulous, maybe slightly pedantic journalism from Portugal. Because if you walk away from him, what's the alternative? Because if you now went back to Leipzig, they're going to demand a full price because you've come back as second choice. And to quote David Brent from The Office, it's going to cost you. You now so I don't see what the alternative is.
Ollie Watkins,
if that makes sense. I don't get what the alternative is. Or Ollie Watkins maybe, but then you're going to a level below that. It doesn't make sense. And Ollie Watkins it might cost. I think if you went for Ollie Watkins, they're going to try and charge you 60 million for him. So I just don't. Yeah, it is fear mongering. I think there is a little bit of fear mongering in there. I think Arsenal are going to get the Gyokeres deal done. Personally, I think they will. And it's a good bit of business. But I think it leads into the next part of the conversation. It's if the Gyokeres deal is done, Eze is probably going to happen. Is that when you start feeling a little bit better about the Madueke situation?
The only way the Madueke situation sounds good is if we buy Rodrygo. I'll be honest with you, Terry. That's literally the only reason. Or there's another specialist left winger we signed, which I can't think of many names. I'm not really too keen on Rafael Leao in the Premier League as explosive as he is. So Rodrygo is really the one I want. I'd take Ademola Lookman over Madueke personally. I'd definitely take him on the left wing. He's in the prime of his career as well.
Would you take Gordon?
Who?
Would you take Gordon from Newcastle?
Yeah, I take Gordon. But Madueke just ain't it. And Terry, like I just heard that I think one of these Clear Lake boys have bought shares in the Lakers. Obviously, you know the Cronkies have the Denver Nuggets. Maybe there's some favoritism going on there, so they can get the draft pick or whatever. Who knows what's going on? Because as you said, this Madueke thing makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. Like I don't get it. Like, why are you using the money that you could be buying on a proper specialist left winger, and you're forcing this Madueke guy to play there? Like it must be a smoke screen, Terry. Literally, it must be, because I don't know if I can take it. My summer's been tough enough as it is. I'm just recovering now. Since I landed in the UK, I've just been recovering. My enemies are rejoicing still because of what happened last year. Chelsea are in the World Club Cup final and they're getting excited, loud noise. Spurs are making signings. All these things are going on. As in, if I now see Noni Madueke at my club, oh my God. It'll be a lot for me, Terry. I'm not gonna lie, it'll be a lot for me. But get me Eze, get me Rodrygo, get me Gyokeres. Then we can discuss. When we can discuss having backups for Bukayo Saka and stuff like that.
What would you rate your transfer window out of 10 if you sign Gyokeres, Eze, and Madueke?
6.
So you know Rodrygo.
6.
6?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rodrygo makes it a 9 for me. I'm telling you that Rodrygo changes every transfer. It makes every transfer he made look good, because I think he raises the level so much on our left side, so much, and it gives us an opportunity where teams maybe be too scared to double up on Bukayo because they've got Rodrygo on that side. So it gives us more options. And having different strikers like Havertz and Gyokeres as our 9s gives us different options.
So it's really like the make or break for you, the Rodrygo deal.
Literally. If we don't get him, it's looking long with all the signings these other clubs are making. I'm not gonna lie. Rodrygo, I'd say Gordon or Lookman as well as the alternative. Other than that, those are the only ones I want.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I get where you're coming from. Right? I really, really do. I don't necessarily think without Rodrygo it's as bad a window as you're saying, because I think, and I'm saying if you get Gyokeres, if you get Eze, because those two, Zubimendi, I just think raises your levels massively. And what I mean by that is this: if you were never linked to Rodrygo because Alonso loved him, and what you were told is that the 3 attackers, the 3 main signings this summer were going to be Eze, Gyokeres, Zubimendi, I think all Arsenal fans would be excited. I think Arsenal fans would be over the moon. I get the Noni Madueke deal. It feels too much money for not a good enough player. I agree. But that coupled with a good young centre-back coming in, Norgard coming in, who I still think for 9 to 10 million is a really good piece of business. Considering that last season, the vast majority of Arsenal fans will see that we just need a world-class striker. You've got that, plus Eze, who can cover a couple of positions. I still think it's a very good window. Overall, I still think it's a very, very good window. I've criticised the Noni Madueke deal in isolation, but I think that's the thing when it comes to transfer windows. Man United, our speed of execution, I definitely would like it to have been quicker as we're at the end of the first week of pre-season. I've said that all along. You look at Arsenal, I think it's been really good, barring that Noni Madueke deal, but I don't think it undoes the other deals because they're still going to be in your team. They're still going to be playing for you, if that makes sense. I look at Chelsea's and I think Gissens is excellent. I think their business has been great so far, but they really need a goalkeeper. And I think a top-class goalkeeper, it almost makes the other signings better in some regards. So I don't know if your summer's as bad, but I'm not an Arsenal fan. So I don't have PTSD. I'm not emotional about it. It doesn't really matter to me what you do next year. So we are looking at this from different lenses.
It's one of them ones where, like, is Eze, let's say, for example, we get Eze and Madueke. If the option of Eze on the left better than the option of Trossard and Matima?
Nottingham Forest have renewed their pursuit of Johan Wiisa, a fresh offer made to Brentford for the 28-year-old. Bid falls under 25 million. The bid. Let me read that again. It's not even in big enough, right? It's not even in big enough. Let me have a little look here. Let me read because the screen I'm reading it on is really small. Let me get it in big in front of me. That doesn't even read right. The bid falls under 25 million that Newcastle were prepared to pay in January. Brentford valuation is in excess of 50 million pounds. So, I mean, their initial bid. So again, no one will get triggered by them doing it. They bid 25 million pound for him, which is more than half of what Brentford want. So they have, listen, clubs are now starting to. Isn't it funny how I remember being absolutely ridiculous? Again, I need my certificate here, KJ. Can you get me one made, please? Because I did say to a lot of people, you'll see a lot more activity in July. Why? Because all the transfer experts and journalists who speak to the club said clubs are all going to start their business in July, which was why I wasn't going too mad in June, because most people weren't doing stuff in June. But I'm also not surprised to see clubs in better financial situations than Man United now doing more either. But yeah, look, the Vista deal goes on. Again, I'm not too pressed by it. Won the bid. It's not a here we go, and the bid is well below the asking price. Let's see what Manchester United do in response to that. But again, there are a lot of people that think United are going to miss out on Mbeumo. If we do, I'll criticize it. If we don't, I'll praise it. Simple as that. But yeah, sorry to interrupt there, but we do the breaking news things on here. Sorry, back to your point, Kunle. Sorry to interrupt you.
Where was I?
Sorry.
I can't even remember. No, I'm saying is the option of Eze better than the option of Martinelli and Trossard on the left wing? Yes. But do I think that's going to be enough with how the other teams are moving this summer? I don't think that's enough. I think if we get a specialist in, and from time to time Eze fits in on that left side, then yeah. But is Madueke that specialist? I've not seen it. Look, I'm ready to be wowed by any signing, Terry, but I just don't see Madueke being the guy to do it. If you're telling me Arsenal are going to go recreate that Chelsea front three when they had Robin and Duff on the left, and they were both at left and right of the wings, and they kept switching wings and confusing defenders. If I thought Madueke could do that, then yeah, maybe I'd get excited. But I saw
a mad bit of Madueke prop today. And Arsenal aggregators were sharing it. I'm not too sure who the journalist was. And it was like, Madueke's got the bit between his teeth. If he leaves Chelsea, he wants to go to a club to play with elite players and play against elite players. He's so determined to prove himself. And I sort of read it. And do you know who I thought about when I was reading it? Do you remember that in the last summer when Raheem Sterling said, "You'll see the best of me"? That's where it took my mind to.
See,
And I was like,
so you
oh,
understand my pain.
saying that.
You understand my pain. Would you take Madueke at United?
No, no, no.
So exactly.
In my opinion, Garnacho and Rashford are both better than him.
And that's it.
Oh yeah, by some
it.
distance.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Gooner here says mad PR, and that's something that I just don't think Arsenal fans should buy in. Look, my view, because it's how I am as a person, and you don't have to agree with it, is if United sign a player that, if Man United gave up on Mbeumo today, we went, it's taking too long, let's go and get a deal done in 24 hours to make Man United fans happy, and we went and got Gibbs-White. I wouldn't be happy because I think he's not as good, although I do think Gibbs-White is a very good player. However, when he comes in, I would want him to do well. I wouldn't be sending him abusive DMs. I wouldn't be setting up petitions to stop it from happening. The reason why is I don't think if you end up signing him, I don't think that helps the player deliver for your team. I know we sort of live in this world because a handful of Real Madrid fans occasionally attack people's cars. Football fans have now got it in their heads that being abusive and nasty to their own players will make them better. I'm yet to see the empirical evidence. In fact, the amount of psychologists now that football clubs have to hire to help the elite players. I'm talking like Klopp brought them in at Liverpool. City have at least 2 or 3 of them at their club. The elite teams that are winning. The amount of psychologists they have to have in to help their players deal with social media. And I know the response from fans will be, they've just got to toughen up. Yeah. But if your actions are making them so vulnerable they need psychiatrists, does it work? Does it actually make them better? I don't know. So for me, I think Arsenal fans don't buy into the PR. That's again, and there's a balance here, isn't there? You don't have to buy into the PR to go not happy, but come on, Madueke, let's deliver. I'm gonna give you a period of time. I'm gonna give you some grace. I'm gonna see how you do. I'm yet to see that from Arsenal. That's because he hasn't signed yet. I think that will come when he signs, because most Arsenal fans will get behind him to that degree, because wanting him to foul is a sickness. If you're an Arsenal fan when you sign him that wants him to foul, that's mad. That genuinely, that would be crazy. But yeah, you don't have to buy the PR though. Don't drink the Kool-Aid and go, actually, I've been doing my don't do this. Don't go, I've been doing my research and now actually I think he's a really good player. Because it shouldn't you could be objective. I did it with João Pedro. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, I'm gonna be objective in this see. And I watched him play in that Club World Cup and I was like, I think I got that wrong, Maybe it's just the first time I've watched Brighton play, but maybe I haven't really studied what João Pedro was doing, and he moved me the other day. But yeah, man, interesting one indeed. Let's do some of these more of these super chats here. Have you? By the way, I've never known anyone to be as late as Giuseppe is tonight for a show. He said he was caught in traffic. Where's my man at? We only started an hour ago. Come on, bruv. You meant to be here at 5.
Joke, man.
This
Fighting with Ches in the comments.
Have you seen the different knock video from today about VG? You should get him on as a good way of explaining himself. Respect to you. Come on, you gooners. Who's different knock?
Alex Moneypenny. He's very
I saw
very good, to be fair.
Yeah, I've seen him on the. Is he the guy that goes on the overlap?
He's the one that got slightly cooked when they quizzed him about Arsenal questions.
Yes,
and he didn't really answer. He didn't really get a lot of them right.
Do you know what's really funny though, right? About general knowledge, it does slightly depend upon the era, because someone who's under 30 is going to know less about the 60s and 70s, generally speaking, than somebody who's 50 or 60, right? But at the same, equally, like when you're on camera and you're asked questions, it does change. We had a guy that did a quiz for us once on one of our shows, and we asked him what the bird on the Liverpool badge was called. He's a Liverpool fan, and his response was Redbird.
Did you ask me that once? And I said, instead of saying Cockerel, what did I say?
I don't know.
Didn't we do that? Didn't I do that as well?
You may have done it in the studio. Yeah.
Rocket was. You were asking the questions, and Rocket was behind the camera, and everyone was pissing themselves.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't remember your one. I have to look back. Look, we overpay for players. Everyone makes fun of us. We take our time negotiating. People make a big deal out of it. We can never win. We'll judge on the day. Look, this is it. Like Staffy and me are having a little bit of friendly banter with this, right? And some people are actually taking it seriously. My haters are definitely taking it seriously. I'm gonna have to hold Staffy account for getting me abuse online. But again, that's a joke in case anyone's triggered. But yeah, I mean, me being relaxed no one else has to be. I'm relaxed about it, but I told everyone why. People ignore it. I will tell you this about serious debate you're having. This is you, Kenny. If people ignore your rationale and just brush over it, it's not a serious conversation. The biggest reason I'm staying relaxed, which I've explained many times, is genuinely for my health. It's not even about being right or wrong. It's my body can't take me being stressed every day. I have really bad acid reflux. If I'm stressed every day, it burns the living daylights out of my esophagus, which gives me really bad chest pains, which triggers my cardiophobia. I think I'm having a heart attack. I can't live like that. That's why I'm relaxed. When I tweet a mate saying, chill out, bruv, stop showing your bum, that's because it's a mate, right? I don't tweet randoms who I don't know. But yeah, if you want to be angry, be angry. It's up to you. You don't have to listen to me. Just catching up on the start. The Kudus Gibbs-White signings might northerly be top 4 moves, but Spurs aren't better than Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, or Arsenal, is what Mitchie says here.
Facts.
Definitely the Liverpool, City, Arsenal. But if we sign Adam Wharton, which is looking like the DM we're going for,
what's going on, man?
Because believe
then what happens? Then you'll be better than one of the 4.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think our back 4 is better than Chelsea's, personally.
Based on what?
So it's Tosin Adarabioyo and Colwill a better centre back partnership than Van der Ven and Romero. No.
What about your fullback?
I think Reece James is injury prone. I think their left back starts, but I'm taking Porro over Gusto. I'm taking our goalkeeper over theirs. Midfield, they wipe the floor of us. Because I think Enzo and Caicedo is fantastic partnership with Palmer. I think wingers, Kudus, I think, starts for Chelsea.
Are you forgetting the little thing of finishing 14 points?
Yeah, but
14 places below them? Are we forgetting that?
Chelsea are a very, very good side, but they should
because
be
on paper we've seen you lot be top of the league before, so there's no debate that you have quality. But
I'm just saying, if Adam Wharton signs, right, which is the next target according to
Adam Wharton.
Yeah, from Crystal Palace, which I think is a very, very good player. Tottenham hold a serious interest in Adam Wharton and are looking to strike a deal with Crystal Palace. It won't come cheap, but Tottenham are prepared. That's coming out from Secret Prem, who was right about Mohamed Kudus. If we bring Wharton in, that's the DM. All right? I don't think we're signing Baleba. I think he's unattainable. I don't think we are a million miles away from that top 4. I think with Thomas Frank's management, I think we'll be knocking on that door.
I promise you signing Wharton doesn't scare any of the top 4, bro. Promise you.
You don't think Wharton starts for? I think he starts for Villa.
For who? He doesn't start. Okay, none of the teams that you're trying to finish above, he doesn't start for any of them.
No, but like that's
you're trying. That's what I'm saying, Henry. If you're trying to finish above these teams, you got to sign players that can get into these teams.
Yeah, but not every single
player that gets into these teams is Kudus,
and vice versa.
I'm just saying, Wharton ain't gonna move the needle for me.
I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, I think he's a good player. Can he? The step ups.
No, he's a good player, but as in he gets into none of the top 4. But isn't that the place you want to be in?
No, but look where we were last year. We were 17th, right? I think Wharton is a considerably big step up. I think he's miles better than Bentancur. I think he's miles better than Bissouma. Right? Look at the players we had to deal with last year. Right? You put him in with Bergvall or Maddison and Gibbs-White in the cam. That's a fantastic midfield.
I've heard this hype before, bro. You lot told me.
Told
me Bissouma was the best DM in North London.
No. I didn't say that.
I'm not gonna get Wharton's decent. I'm getting explicit. He's a decent player, just like Gibbs-White is a decent player. The real quality that you signed is Kudus for me. The other two, they're all right, but they don't get into any of the top 4 sides for me. If so, what Kudus, that guy, he gets into all of them personally for me.
Yeah, Kudus does, but I think you are. I think it's a little bit harsh on the other two, but
listen. Again, Wharton takes you up another level. I'm still going to stay by what I said an hour ago. I feel you've got to wait. I saw a tweet from Beth from the United Stand, who essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but is like, I'm really worried about how far behind we're falling, but everybody else. I understand that fear, and I hold that fear. But the only reason why I'm not panicking at this point, just personal preference, is I want to wait until the end of the window to see what we do before not before I reveal my hand, but it's like I agree that there's a fear there, but you've got to wait and see. The same with Tottenham, going to make top 4, going to challenge. Got to wait and see what Chelsea, Arsenal, and everybody else finish the season doing. I also think as well now, I think we've all matured as content creators. I don't even like doing the who won the transfer window. I'd say in the last 5 years, the team we've predicted to have won the transfer window hasn't. Rarely have we seen the transfer window. Like Arsenal, when they had that window where they bring in Jesus and Zinchenko, it was laughed at. They went and put a title charge on that nobody expected. Last year, Liverpool, ridiculed for a terrible window, went on to win the league. I'm using 2 examples. Sometimes you have a good window and a very good season. That also happens. I'm not denying it. But I just feel like I think we've got to wait to see preseason games. And I'm at a point this year where we'll do some preliminary predictions before the season starts. But I always find the best predictions come after the end of the window, 2 or 3 games into the season, when you've seen the teams play. I'm not writing Spurs off because I've said all along, you weren't the 17th worst team in the league last year. But I'm not just going to jump into, oh my God, they're going to be in the top 4 next year, because you're still behind the teams already in. And every team that's in that top 4 already has already improved. And we're now starting to see a lot more business. And this is when the sales will come in soon as well, because with the Brentfords and the Bournemouths and everybody else losing players, they are going to go out into the market and start buying. And that's when you might then see these things happen. You've got Diaz and Darwin Núñez are probably going to leave Liverpool. Liverpool are going to they're going to do at least one more massive thing in this window. I think we can all feel and sense that. So look, let's wait and see what happens. But Wharton would be an amazing signing. Away from all of that, Wharton would be a fantastic piece of business. There's no doubt about that. Kate here said, Levy finally moving in a way we have been screaming for. Great business with Kudus and Gibbs-White. Want a DM next, please, Daniel. Come on, you Spurs. You're spot on. This is how you should be behaving. This is what you should be doing. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I am actually worried about, so if people want to challenge me and ask me genuine questions that make sense, yes, I don't want to overspend, and yes, I don't want to sell cheaply. And I'll tell you as to why. Because what my real fear is, and this is where Man United fans aren't looking, is that none of the teams that are in that top 6 conversation, none of them have the financial difficulties we do. So for us to compete, we have to be thrifty. We can't afford to just jump into deals willy-nilly and buy players at the initial asking price or overpay, because you won't be able to buy enough players to bridge the gap. So this is where it becomes a balancing act. And it's why I'm not losing my mind yet, because I would hate us to go, all right, 70 million plus 5 million add-ons. Okay, cool. Who are you going for next? Go for Watkins. They want 60. Yep, just pay it, because we've got to, because this is what I mean. We could do that. Most likely, right? Just pay the 60 million for Watkins. Let's pay the 70 plus add-ons for Mbeumo. Let's do it. We need a midfielder. What do Napoli want for? Sorry, Atalanta wants for Ederson? Or 60 million? Yeah, just pay it. Oh, we can't. Okay, we do. We can manage it. Cool. Right now, we need to get a new goalkeeper. Sweet. How much do they want for Martinez? 30 million. Got no money left. Why? Because we overpaid for everybody else. And then what you'll get is the fuck's sake, my club can't finish its dinner. And that's the thing for me. I just want to remain, I'm just keeping my powder dry on the opinions yet. I'm criticizing. The biggest criticism is we shouldn't have run out of money. But you know why we ran out of money? Dividends and interest payments, yes, but overpaying and underselling. So for me, I want to see us stopping those things, or some of those things that have led to this situation in the process of rebuilding the squad. Because if we don't, I'm telling you now, as sure as eggs are eggs, we will never be able to buy enough players to catch the teams anyway. It will just become a waste of money. It will be a genuine waste of money, because we won't be able to finish the squad rebuild if we overpay and don't negotiate things down. And that for me is the biggest fear here, that isn't being discussed enough at large in a sensible way. I get the anger. I'm not saying you're wrong. And I see a few of you guys in the comments. Let it out. Be angry. No issue with it on a personal level. I'll call my mates out for it. But yeah, that's what I'm more concerned with personally. Terry, question. If United get decent players, can they battle Arsenal? I doubt Man United this season will catch Arsenal, catch Chelsea, catch City or Liverpool. I can't see a world where that happens, because they're all improving. Unless the signings end up being duds and they do go backwards. Unless Arteta has lost the dressing room, we don't know yet. But all things being equal, no, not in my personal opinion.
Yeah, there's too much to do.
Yeah. Far too much there. Far too much. Noni's stats comparable to Pedro Neto and Martinelli.
You can't sell this baller to me. There's nothing that you can do to sell Noni to unless he's a backup to Saka and we've signed Rodrygo. That's
Yeah,
it.
I think.
Stop it.
Yeah, Rob called in yesterday and he wasn't overly annoyed about it as a deal.
There's no and look, as I said, Terry, get me Rodrygo and I can entertain any of this Madueke thing. That's the only way. Eze is not enough.
That Rodrygo one's going to be very, very, very interesting, man.
It needs to be, man. At what 75 million? I'm hearing that we need to just close our eyes and do that, man.
What? It's only
250.
15 more than we paid for Gibbs-White.
I'm saying 250k a week, easy. And
yeah, that's why. That's why the deal annoys me, and it keeps winding me up. And I'm not even an Arsenal fan. You think Gibbs-White is 60 million, okay? Noni, including add-ons, they're saying will be 55. Now I know they play different positions, but Gibbs-White is in the category above Noni. Right. It's the price of it. You think about Kunle with 62 million. There is no way Noni Madueke is only worth £5 to £7 million less than Kunle. It isn't. You guys might be getting Victor Gyokeres for around the same base price that you're paying for Noni. That's why it don't make sense.
No.
It
That's
just
why
doesn't.
I can't believe we're gonna. I just don't want to believe we're gonna pay the money Chelsea want. That's what I want to believe. I hope. It's a dark time for me, Terry. I'm not gonna lie. It's a dark time.
This year says we had the third best defense, bro. Come on.
That's for you, Henry.
Yeah, but you also had a manager who knew how to set his team up correctly. We had a manager who was playing gung-ho football for 25 out of 38 games.
So you think a manager that's done it for one season already is not got more chance of a manager that's doing it for the first time in the top 4 side?
Yeah, but
playing Champions League football after the team lost 21 games last season. That guy.
Okay, but we're also bringing in a manager who actually knows how to set a back lineup and knows how to play into a counter-attacking team. Our best performances last season when we counter-attacked. We're bringing in a manager who's the master of that.
I rate Thomas Frank, and I think this is a perfect manager for Spurs. But
yeah,
let's not get it twisted. He's gonna feel the level up.
Oh, it's huge pressure on his shoulders,
like massive, because Spurs fans tend to think the club are bigger than they are, which means the expectations are going to be higher. Which means there's going to be a lot of questions asked if, say, for example, you lot lose the first 2 games, for example. But there needs to be calm. There needs to be calm regardless, because it's not going to be a quick fix. Getting into the top 10 and having a good cup run is a good season for this team. And none of the Spurs fans
where we were last season, yeah, it would be, yeah.
100%. But and that shouldn't be alarm bells. That should be like, okay, he's laid his foundation, he's got his style of play, he's gonna get more money in the next window. Let's go again. Then he can start pushing for things like top 6, top 4, whatever. But I think these expectations that you're setting him, Henry, is the reason why I don't think this guy's gonna do well. He's playing Champions League football for the very first time, alongside the pressure of being at Spurs compared to Brentford. I think there's going to be a big learning curve here, man.
Spurs fans can speak however they want. They can feel however they want.
For sure.
However, yeah, I'm not challenging what you're saying now. I'm prefacing what I'm about to say, right? A bit like maybe like with me with some United fans, where I'm like, one of the reasons why I say hold it down a little bit sometimes, and we don't always. I get people want to, and they can do what they want. One of the reasons why I like to hold it down a little bit is Man United fans started publishing the 36 days and counting calendars. Now rivals are doing it and the pressure's on. Now the media is doing it and that's more pressure. And as much as people have a right to express themselves, I don't always think it helps football clubs. I don't think the Spurs media publishing articles that Big Ange is the new Fergie and that he's fixed them and stopped them from being Spursy. I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps the team stay grounded. I don't think it helps the team keep their feet on the floor. I don't also think it helps when it's a massive exaggeration, because when there's a bump in the road, there's often a massive outrage because you've convinced yourselves things are fixed. And I think it's very fair to be excited about these individual signings. But if I was a Tottenham fan, Patrick in the group chat, I think it summed it up perfectly. He come back saying we might be back as a joke, right? I just said, well, you wouldn't ever be. Spurs can't be back. You would have arrived if it worked, because you can't be back when you've never been there, right? As a bit of a joke, but I said really good signings though, and he said we'll see. Still early days, promising signs though, and that for me is the right approach. Promising signs. I would do that because I think what you need to try and do is keep and if this is the irony in it, if people believe what they say on social media actually impacts the club, i.e., I've got high standards, it works. I think applying too much pressure to a team like Tottenham that's had bottle issues too early on is a problem. I think what you're better off doing is going in an understated way, relieving that pressure, because I think you thrive more in it, personally. But I'm not saying you're doing this, Emery. I do understand for the TikTok algorithm. I do understand that being big and bold gets you seen more. I get accused of it. I get it, right? I understand why people say it. So I know it's hard if you sign a deal to go, I think we'll do okay next season. I'm not getting carried away. People go, come on, bro, show us some more.
I do negative and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think but this is the difference maybe between me and other people. I think you can be mad excited about Gibbs-White, but still reserved and relaxed and balanced about what your team's going to do next year. I think there's a distinction between those two things, because you haven't even seen your team kick a ball under Frank yet. Look at Chelsea last season. In pre-season, under Maresca, they looked awful. First couple of games of the season, a bit, and then it started clicking into gear. Then it went off the boil again for 3 months. But since March till now, they've looked really good by and large. There's been moments again. And I just think sometimes what happens is Man United fans will do this too. If we actually sign a couple more players and then look good in pre-season, there will be the people right now saying we're fucked, we're 100% finished, will be the same people saying, my manager, my club, look what we're going to do. And then they'll be the first to go, we got frauded. No, nobody's defrauded you. You got carried away. How do I know this? Because I've been there and done it. I've done it. So, yeah, I don't know. Listen, say what you want. Have your honest opinions. But for me, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be doing what Patrick's doing right now, keeping those feet very, 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 very firmly on the floor, personally.
You're in a unique situation right now for Spurs fans, is that you've just finished 17th. So if there ever was a time where you could have a bit more realistic expectations, it would be now.
And I play the longer game. I'd play the longer game with rivals, right? When they start saying you're going to come 10th and you're going to come 12th, I take it all on the chin, every single bit of the banter, take it all and then I did this directly about 3 seasons ago. I remember I did a big live event where we had Boovy, Lies, mad what Lies is doing from doing that, Judges and a few others there. Who's a Spurs fan that does Last Word of Spurs?
Ricky Sachs.
Ricky, yeah, Ricky was there. And all of them predicted United having a bad season in the league. I think Boovy even said bottom half 100%. I let everyone say it. I was getting called out. I lost a lot of United followers over this. Why don't you defend us? And they couldn't see what I was doing. I was letting everybody just talk and talk and talk and talk. And in the back end of the season, when we won the League Cup, got to the FA Cup final and came third, I got the last laugh that season and rammed it down all their necks. Sometimes you've got to play the longer game when it comes to banter and just let people keep doing what it is they do. And I would, if I was a Spurs fan, that would be my approach to this season. I wouldn't let people utterly disrespect you. I'd give reasonable predictions, but I'd set it up where even if you come 8th, 7th, or 8th, they've got to admit you've overachieved. I wouldn't set it up where if you come any lower than 4th, you're going to get bantered. I'd just try and control the narrative better personally. That's just me. Like, that's my approach on it if I was in your situation. So you'll watch me a lot. You'll often watch me not really fight too hard where people want to place Man United if it's really low. Because I just think, well, you're the one who's going to look. If I know what they're saying is bullshit, then I'm like, well, you're the one who's going to end up having to backtrack that. I don't need to put myself out there now. You've said something crazy. I'll just let it be on you. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, tell a lie, Terry. Do you know what? Spurs might be able to get top 4, you know. I think 15 million you said then, Emery in 48 hours.
20 million now.
Mad thing. New manager, like proper tactics. Hey, to be honest, I might be the fool here. I might be the idiot. You might be onto something, Henry, innit? Let's wait and see.
I love this. Poor Terry is getting used to United being meaty. It's not so much that, bro. It's just sometimes when it comes to people pandering you, you just got to learn when to react, when to stay quiet, when to stay calm. This was happening. Henry saw me do this in person at a live poker event. I was getting shit the whole game because I was in last place from the first hand of cards until I won. And part of that was my tactic. You know, make myself look more vulnerable. I was taking all that banter. I wasn't giving any back. I just kind of took it. And eventually I started seeing people underestimate me. And then bang, 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 bang. You don't always have to. You must have a mate out there, Mr. N16, where like every time someone gives them a bit of banter, they snap back before you've even finished speaking. It's like, oh, you can't even take a joke, can you? And they're the easiest ones to wind up because they react to everything. Where the ones you've got to worry about because they're going to get you bad are the ones that sit there in silence. They sit there in silence. I was out for dinner years ago now with my football team. And this is maybe the best practical joke I've pulled off. No one's going to laugh at it now I've said that. But this guy was giving me shit all night about what I was wearing, haircut, whatever, all night. And I just kind of took it. And I kind of left it. And we're out for dinner. We were going out for food, and we were going out to a few bars. And we were out having dinner. We'd been out to the pub before. He'd been on at me. And we were sitting almost opposite each other in the restaurant. And I just said to my mate, Diggers, who was sitting at the end, I said, I need you to phone me. So my phone rings. It'll be on the table. I said, but just let me do it. So he phones me. My phone rings quite loud. I answer. I talk. And I'm basically like acting as though there's a woman on the phone who wants to do all types of madness to me. And I'm like, oh, you're naughty. You're dirty. Oh, you want to do what? And I made it quite convincing. And by the time I was like a minute and a half in, every lad on the table had stopped talking and was listening. Even other tables started listening because I was being quite loud. And then I was trying to say bye. And then just before I said bye, I was like, what's that? Oh, you want to now? All right, no worries. And I was like, Jamie, your mum wants to talk to you, right? And it erupted, and I got no more stick from him all night because I'd done him. But how I did him was not by instantly reacting to what he did. It was letting the panic and building up, and it ruined him. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't say the whole restaurant laughed. The table did. The table next to it did. And he got jibbed for it all night.
Enough damage.
He did not banter me again for the rest of the night. And that's what I mean. Sometimes you don't always have to react in the first instance. It was great. I love that night. It was a great night out, man. It was a great night out. Is Diggers a landscape gardener? He does a very similar job to that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not talking about people like that. They're not on the internet. They're not on the internet. Do me a favor, people, by the way, and hit the like button and make sure you're all subscribing to the channel. Why not Martinelli plus cash for Rodrygo? Do Real Madrid want Martinelli?
Exactly. That's the only issue. We'd love that. Bro.
That'd be a good deal for Arsenal. I'm not too sure.
I'll take it.
I'm not too sure if they'd be jumping for it. If we're being absolutely honest. If we're being absolutely honest with that one. But there we go. Any questions you guys have got, get them into us now about these transfers. Yes, and exactly. Make sure you've got the like button here. Make sure you're subscribing. We said it earlier. Bell notifications. Get them turned on. But turn it on to all notifications, please, because you're not getting sent them anymore. YouTube's being a little bit of a son of a gun at the moment. I like how letting Don cook and Arsenal get still going to beat him and finish in front of him. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's there. Self-praise, Terry. Nice. It was a good joke, Duffers. It was definitely a good joke. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to educate the youngsters that you got to do it. There we go. Let's have a look at a few others here. Terry, can you tell Arsenal fans to pop it down since they always trophyless every season? I mean, I can't tell them what to do personally, but there we go. If Liverpool sell Diaz, I believe they will land Rodrygo for a little more change. They could.
That could be interesting.
If you can't get him, Kunle, where would you rather see him go? Liverpool or Bayern? Saudi, yeah.
Bayern Munich, definitely, mate. Because if Liverpool get him, that's just wrong. That's just wrong, man. Salah, Rodrygo, Verts, like, come on, man. What are we doing?
I hear you, man. I hear you. That'd be a crazy one. Yeah, they could though. Rumors are Daniel Levy is flying to Portugal tomorrow to strike a deal. Oh well, no, there's no way that's happening. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If it did, though, what would the what do
Mate,
you think
hey, the
down
meltdown would be like something you've never seen before, man. I don't even.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, it will be crazy. That will be all over, everywhere. Nah,
Jed,
nah.
no. Jed, here's his question for the panel: which team will struggle next season after the recent transfers?
West Ham, big time. Not just because
Forest,
of the Kudus
Forest. I think
situation, but
Forest,
apparently they've got no money.
Forest will struggle.
Yeah, I think Brentford could. I think Brentford might go down next season. They've hired. I reckon I can't remember the manager's name. He's obviously a Prem player as well, but he was a set piece coach before he became a manager. There's something about that worries me for him. Set piece coach. They're probably going to lose Wiisa, Mbeumo, Norgard, the manager. I think Brentford could go down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think they could go down. The bigger teams, look, there's always a possibility Man United still struggle next year. I'm very aware of that. The bigger teams, though, we're more about buying than losing our better players, most of us. So I think it's about who we buy. It's hard to judge where we're already seeing some of these teams. The one thing you would say, it depends on their recruitment, but not everyone can pull off what Brighton do, where they manage to always replace the players that go. But let's see what happens to Brighton by the end of the window as well. If they end up losing Baleba and Mitoma, again, there's as well run as they are, there's going to come a point where that conveyor belt stops because their like succession rate of signings is so good. At some point, they're going to get a few duds, surely. But we will see. I'm hearing 300 million investment in at Spurs.
Yeah, Saudi investment
for a while.
Yeah, apparently there's a 300 million, 10% of the club evaluation has been invested by Saudis. That's what George Bannister was saying. That's what some of the extra revenues come from. We'll believe it. I'll believe it when, it's not out of the ordinary for Tottenham to spend 150 million in a transfer window. But if we go north of 200, then I'll be like, right, something's different here.
Yeah. 1 second. I just don't see Martinelli stay if we get Rodrygo. You don't want to have competition in the club and country for the World Cup. I mean, look, I think it's not even about competition. I think you'd sell Martinelli because you've got to raise, you'd have to raise some cash as well. So, yeah, with Eze coming in as well, because I think Eze is almost a certainty. So if it ends up being Eze and Rodrygo, he's just not going to get the game time, Martinelli, because he just isn't as good as those two. So, yeah, it will just be gone. Listen, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's channel, but make sure you're back at 9 p.m. UK time for a special version of Straight Facts. Myself, Henry, We Are Tottenham TV, and Hugh Wizzy will be in their studio live for a special late night edition of Straight Facts, talking transfers and playing a little game of darts. Tomorrow, we're back with Straight Facts, where me and Staffy, I've got a very special plan for Staffy, so make sure you're tuning in. Plus, tomorrow evening, I'm back on the United Stand at 8 p.m. I was meant to be on there tonight, but we've switched it around because I've got to do this show. Listen, everybody, I appreciate you all being here. Kunle and Henry, always a pleasure to speak with you, with the two of you. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.